Hi, I'm Pete with FoamFit Tools, and today I want to show you some of the foam organizers we make to fit the Craftsman 42-piece screwdriver set. So the Craftsman 42-piece screwdriver set comes in a cardboard box. I want to talk about uh, what's included in that set, some of the pros and cons of organizing it with a foam organizer, and then go through this large layout that we have, and also um, some options we have to split the screwdrivers across two drawers. Our foam organizers are visual. We intentionally space the tools out just enough that you can quickly find what you're looking for. And because the tools are always in the same space, you may find that as you open the drawer, you'll be reaching for the tool knowing that that tool is going to be there because that's its spot. So the tools that you use frequently, you can go right for that tool. You're not opening the drawer and then looking for it. Of course, one of the biggest benefits is you can visually inventory your tools. So you can open that drawer and spot that something's missing. This is important in some industries like in aerospace because they don't want to leave a tool inside a plane. Nuclear is another industry where tool control is very important. But there are a lot of benefits beyond that, especially when we're talking about screwdrivers, because when you close the drawer, all the screwdrivers have a tendency to roll in that drawer. And this keeps the screwdrivers right where they're supposed to be. And another benefit, and this is a large screwdriver set, this would be a great set for a maintenance department or a toolbox that multiple people are working out of. So when you have a situation where you've got multiple people working out of one box, the tools have a tendency to move around in the box. Somebody takes that screwdriver, somebody else brings it back, and they put it in about the right spot, but not exactly where it was before. And things tend to migrate from one drawer to the next, or if you have multiple toolboxes in your facility, sometimes you end up with two of the same screwdriver in one box, none of that screwdriver in the other. So this naturally helps people put things back in the right spot so that tools are always available when you need it. The Craftsman 42-piece screwdriver set is model CMHT 65300. So let's talk about what's included in this set. The first thing you'll notice is these are the traditional hard handle Craftsman screwdrivers that most people are familiar with. So this is an acetate plastic alloy steel blade with a satin nickel finish. And the next thing that jumped out at me looking at this set is there's some really large screwdrivers in this set. So this is a 3/8 wide slotted screwdriver, 16 inches long. They also have a 12-inch and I believe that one's 8 inches long. So, this set definitely skews towards the larger sizes. Same thing on the Phillips. We have a number 4 Phillips and a number 3 Phillips. Now the number 3 Phillips I think is really handy to have. A lot of times you run into a screw that has a number 3 head, and if you use a smaller Phillips screwdriver on there, that number 2, it'll work for a while, but it has a tendency to slip, and I think that leads to a lot of rounding off of both the screw and the screwdriver. So I always try to, when I'm not sure of the size, I always try the number 3 first because a lot of times it doesn't slip like the number 2 would. We've got the 3/8, 2 5/16 sizes, and then we get to the quarter, and they start to have some duplicates. And I think the duplicates are nice because they're just a few duplicates of sizes that are very common. So if you have multiple people working out of this box, you don't have to fight over the number 2 by 4-inch Phillips because they've given you 2. Same thing with the 1/4 by 4, and the number 1 Phillips is also, they've got 2 in here. So on the quarter drive, there's 1, 2, 3, 4 sizes, and then we get to the 3/16. So there's 6 sizes of 3/16. And one of the things that we notice is they've got some cabinet tip screwdrivers in here. Now, if you're not familiar with the terminology, they've got the 3 that are 3/16 cabinet tip, and then they've got the keystone tip ones as well. So the difference is the cabinet tip screwdriver is a round shank and it has the same diameter all the way to the tip. Where a keystone, Craftsman's using a square shank, then they flare it out and then it tapers back down. And the reason they call it a cabinet tip screwdriver has nothing to do with kitchen cabinets, but it has to do with electrical cabinets or an electrical enclosure. And when you work in electrical enclosures, you run into a lot of components like this. This is a little AC to DC converter, and the wires fit into the two slots on the side, and then you need a screwdriver that can go down into that recessed, reach that recessed screw, and that's so it doesn't short out accidentally. So when you have terminal blocks and things like that inside an electrical cabinet, a cabinet tip screwdriver is really handy. Now, there are some 1/8 inch screwdrivers in this set. They have 3 of them, 1/8 slotted, but there isn't a 1/8 inch cabinet tip screwdriver. All 3 of these are keystone tip. So it does tend to, this set tends to skew towards the larger sizes. What else we're seeing? On the number 2 Phillips, they have a lot of different lengths. So these are all the different lengths of number 2 Phillips. A real good selection of those. And there's a number 1 Phillips, no P0. So just 1 P0. So this one, they've got 2 screwdrivers with little pocket clips on them. So 1 P0. So this is definitely not a precision screwdriver set that would have P0, P00, P000. So that's what's not included in the set is all the real small stuff. Also square, so there's number 1, number 2, and number 3 square tip. And then a really good selection of torques. So this is a T30, T27, T25, T20, T15, T10, and then a T6. The last thing is the scratch awl. So the Craftsman 25-piece set has 4 mini picks, and this set doesn't have the picks, but it does have the scratch awl. So for some people, maybe that 25-piece set would be a reasonable way to go. Obviously, if you need the bigger sizes, then this 42-piece set is going to be appealing to you. Craftsman has had a lot of changes to their tools, and when we talk about things like wrenches and ratchets, the length has changed, the width has changed, the shape has changed, but interestingly enough, the screwdrivers haven't had any dimensional changes. The handles are still the same width, same length, same shape, and the manufacturing has shifted. Of course, they were always made in the U.S., and we'd prefer it if they were today. But what they've done with the acetate handle screwdrivers, that manufacturing shifted to China, and then when Sears sold the Craftsman brand to Stanley Black & Decker, Stanley Black & Decker moved the manufacturing to Taiwan. So the quality is back about where it used to be. One thing I noticed, I've got a USA one here, it's probably hard to see, but where it says where the size of the Torx is marked on there, I would say the new one is a little easier to read. They're still not marking the ends, but for an acetate handle screwdriver, the quality is comparable to what it used to be. Now, I asked a different manufacturer why nobody was making an acetate handle screwdriver in the US anymore. And what he explained was that the company that supplied the acetate, the actual plastic that they used to make the old style screwdrivers, that company is no longer in business. And that's why you don't see any US manufacturers doing an acetate handle screwdriver. You will find a lot of them doing like a nylon handle, but for the basic Craftsman screwdriver, that manufacturing is in Taiwan, and it doesn't seem like they're very likely to move it back to the US, unfortunately. This foam insert is 34 inches wide and 22 inches front to back. We've got quite a bit of margin on this. The idea is you can trim it to fit different drawer sizes, and the minimum trim down size, you'll find that on our website with a bunch of other information. But when we were laying this out, we made sure to make it small enough to fit the Craftsman V-Series box, the 63-inch V-Series box. So there's a full width drawer in there, but then there's a bank medium width drawers, and this is sized to be so that it can be trimmed to fit that box. And I believe when we find out dimensions on the 52-inch Craftsman V-Series box, they're going to have the same size drawer on the left bank of that box as well. So so this will be a good option for those bigger Craftsman V-Series boxes. Now, if you have a Craftsman 2000 series box, you'll want a much smaller layout. So this 2-drawer layout, this fits the Phillips and Torx, this fits the slotted. So in 2 drawers in a Craftsman 2000 series bottom cabinet, this option works best. So these are 22 1/4 wide, 16 1/4 front to back. On our website, you'll also find a layout that's 14 1/2 inches front to back. That smaller layout is for a top chest, a Craftsman 2000 series top chest. But you do have to be careful. A lot of the old Craftsman toolboxes use this exact same size, but there are a number of them out there that are a little bit narrower. Those were mainly consumer grade boxes. And then a lot of the Craftsman top chests were only 10 5/8 on the front to back dimension. So if you have an older top chest, you have to be really careful because those drawers are quite a bit smaller. So we know there are a lot of different toolboxes out there. If you need help figuring out if these will fit in your toolbox or what option would be best for your toolbox, feel free to contact us through our website or give us a call. Some of our colors, we've got the black and blue, which is what I was showing you for these. We have black and red, blue and yellow. Those are our standard colors. And then we usually have a couple of special colors in stock, like this black and yellow, black and green, and black with gray as the bottom color. So the website is FoamFitTools.com. You can contact us by email. It's info@FoamFitTools.com. And you can find our phone number on the website. Thanks a lot.